Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to my channel. My name is Gavin. I am glad that you're here. For those of you who are subscribed, thank you so much for doing that. I'm glad that I get to see you here. Glad to read your comments. And if you haven't subscribed already and you think I have earned it and you like content like this, please feel free to click that subscribe button, maybe hit the notification bell. And whether you like or dislike this video, click whichever, thumbs up, thumbs down. It helps me know what kind of content you guys want. And yeah, it really helps me out to get the channel out and about. Listen, I've been going through the comments since last night. There are several thousand comments that I've been trying to go through. And for the most part, they're just overwhelmingly positive. Thank you guys very much for doing that. And for those who are criticizing me, I don't mind that either. Healthy criticism is a good thing. But there are a couple of comments that they haven't bothered me, but I feel like I should address them. And these have to do with Dwayne, the dog bounty hunter Chapman, getting involved in the Gabby Petito case. We've got a lot of people that are watching these videos that I'm doing and other videos on YouTube that have strong feelings and they don't mind sharing their feelings. And it's certainly your right to do that. And like I said, I don't mind, but I do want to talk a little bit. For the most part, it kind of seems like people think that he is a self-promoting, profiteer off of the death of Gabby Petito. And that might be true. Of course, it's also true for people like me, people all over YouTube. It's true for the news channels. It's true for everybody who is profiting off of covering this case. But I think Dog the Bounty Hunter probably just kind of rubs people the wrong way, at least some people. And he has been getting a fair amount of attention. I want to tell you something that's personal to me. It's something that I don't really talk about that often, but it has to do with Dog the Bounty Hunter. And I feel like since we're getting to know each other, most of you are new to the channel. I mean, I might as well just put myself out there. So there was a time in my life when Kimberly and I were working really hard and we were getting nowhere. We had 3 little kids, and it was a difficult time for us personally, and it was a very difficult time for me as far as my mental health. The economy was down. The real estate bubble had burst. Kimberly and I had put a lot of our money into real estate, and we had lost everything. We lost our business, and so I was in a really bad place. I took a job selling mortgages because it was the only job that I could get. It was a terrible time to sell mortgages, of course. I couldn't sell anything because nobody was buying anything, and the refinance market had changed. It was just a very difficult time. And so while I was going to the office to sell mortgages during the day, sorry about that. That means go pick up the kids from school, but Kimberly's got it. While I was selling mortgages during the day, I was driving either cab or a limousine 4 nights a week. So I was doing an 8-hour shift during the day, and I was doing an 8 or 10-hour shift at night, 4 nights a week. And then Kimberly was teaching an amount of fitness classes that was very unhealthy for her. She was doing as much as she possibly could, teaching fitness classes. And then on the 3 nights a week that I was not working, she was waiting tables at a Denny's in downtown Reno, Nevada. So I'm driving cab, driving limo at night, and she's waiting tables at night, and we're still not making enough. It was an extremely difficult time. Mentally, I was in a place where I was really feeling strong urges to end my own life, and I was working really hard to inside me without letting anybody know what my struggles were, trying really hard to overcome those things. And I would, every morning as I got in the car to go to the office to sell mortgages, this is before like iPhones and aux inputs in a car, I had a CD that I burned. It had 2 tracks on it. It had Won't Back Down, Tom Petty, and The Boxer from Simon and Garfunkel. And I would just play that over and over and over again. And those lines, right? I won't back down. You can stand me up at the gates of hell. I won't back down. And, in The Boxer, that in the clearing stands a boxer and a fighter by his trade, and he carries a reminder of every glove that laid him down or cut him till he cried out, in his anger and his pain, I am leaving, but the fighter still remains. I would play that over and over and over again, trying to overcome these thoughts of worthlessness, of uselessness, right? And what is scary looking back on that, I wasn't letting my wife in. I wasn't letting anybody in. I wasn't letting them know the struggles that I was having. I was just trying to deal with them myself. And I had the motivation and I had the means. I owned a gun. I owned ammunition. I could have just driven out into the desert and taken care of it and just ended what I was feeling, this pain that I was feeling. I couldn't find any joy. I couldn't find any happiness except for just brief moments where I would look at like my children who thought that I was the coolest dad in the world, a guy that would drive these big cars. Right? I was feeling completely worthless, and I'd have just these little moments of, what's the word I'm looking for? Just, relief, right? Looking into my children's faces. So at night when I was driving cab, I would pray that I would be able to get a fare out to the brothels. I would pick people up at like strip clubs, and I would take them out to the brothels, and I would sit in the kitchen at these brothels, waiting for my fare to be done with what it was he or they were doing, and they were probably many of them were probably fighting the same urges I was, and they were looking for that relief in alcohol and in sex. Anyway, I would sit in those little kitchens and places where the cabbies and the drivers would sit and wait. And in the middle of the night, Dog the Bounty Hunter would be on. And so I just don't watch reality TV, but those were the times that I would watch. And when I would watch, and I would be there in a brothel outside of Reno, Nevada, watching Dog the Bounty Hunter, it always struck me that as much as they went after the person that they were chasing, as soon as they got that person into the back seat, they showed genuine care and kindness and love toward these people that they were finding, right? That they were bringing in. And, I can't overstate that when I would listen to them telling people like this young man in this clip right here, hey, this is just a moment. You're just going to take care of this and you're going to be okay. Everything's going to be okay. I've been where you are and everything's going to be okay. I would sit there and I would listen to that and I would say to myself, he's talking to me or she's talking to me. She's saying everything's okay. I'm okay. I have worth. I have people depending on me. Just buck up and go. And guys, it meant so much. And so when I read comments about how Dwayne Chapman is just doing that for his own self-promotion, it kind of hurts. I mean, you can say it and you can feel it. It's perfectly fine. But I just want you to know that ultimately, to get out of the place where I was, I turned to my wife, my parents, my family members, my church, my children, Tom Petty, Simon and Garfunkel, and Dwayne and Beth Chapman. And without one of any of those, I would have probably taken my own life. So, guys, I appreciate your comments, and I appreciate the way that you're expressing those comments, and you have the right to do that. My hope is that, well, actually, let me show you a clip from a press conference real quick.
What do you make of people like Dog the Bounty Hunter and John Walsh getting involved in looking for Brian Laundrie?
Again, we, just like we ask for help to look from everyone, that if they see Brian Laundrie or any information on that, we're asking that they call the local law enforcement or the FBI. We welcome everybody's help to find him. And if you have any information, we're asking that you call the FBI tip line or your local police department. So we'll take help from everybody.
They're being extremely pragmatic about this, guys, and it's the social media and the public awareness that is really probably driving this more than anything. Public officials, like the FBI, like the investigators, they need incentive sometimes to do their job, and having somebody like Dwayne Chapman out there doing that just drives more attention and ultimately will help this case be solved. I really believe that. And while you may have a different opinion than me, I want you to know that I'm glad that people like John Walsh, like Dog the Bounty Hunter, and like so many others are on the case and are working on it. And with that, I will bid you adieu, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you very much for watching this video. If you liked what you saw, please subscribe to my channel. And if you have any comments or questions, please leave them below.